space of cryptocurrencies for the last few years, since the last bubble in 2013, and since last year I've been very involved in with a focus in Vietnam. At the moment I run one of the largest English-speaking crypto community in Vietnam. So one of the things that I do is, besides investments, is I connect different projects and different people to Vietnam.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first question, can you please elaborate more on the Vietnam crypto community that you take care of?
Yeah. So we've had it for me and a friend, and we're both sort of crypto investors. We just started it last year, sort of like in about May or June, right before the sort of crypto ramp up. It's a safe space where people can learn about cryptocurrencies, because crypto, as you know, is very volatile. There's a lot of scams, there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of, it's a bit of a learning curve as well, right? Just what coin to buy, like how do you store it, what's an exchange, blah blah blah, and lots of scams. So we thought it was important that there's a community and a safe space for people to discuss, to learn, and to access good information about cryptocurrencies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So comparing to Indonesia crypto community, where do you think the Vietnam crypto community stand? Like, how do you think about Indonesia community?
Well, to be completely honest with you, like this is my second day in Indonesia, so I'm not very familiar with the community in Indonesia. But what I am hearing is that like it seems quite infant, right? It seems like not that many ICOs have come out of Indonesia yet. I don't know what the general interest is like in Indonesia. In Vietnam, though, there is quite a fervor for investments. For example, out of Vietnam, it's like top 5, top 6 out of sort of crypto trading volumes, so quite high. And in general, it's a grey legal area, as in Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, they're treated as commodity, not currency. So you can't go to a coffee shop and spend Bitcoin, but you can invest in it or buy or whatever. And so that hasn't stopped people investing in Vietnam. And actually, like some of the biggest scams, unfortunately, have come out of Vietnam. You might have heard of BitConnect or iFan, for example, and we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investment that has gone into cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, those are bad ones.
So cryptocurrency is treated like a commodity in Vietnam.
That's correct.
Okay. So what's your opinion in building a strong crypto community in Vietnam? Like, what does it take?
I think there's no hard and fast rule. I think you do need a strong moderation team. There's some people who are passionate about certain standards. For example, I know a lot of communities and groups have much more people, but then they get a bit spammy. Everyone is spamming different ICOs, spamming different ads, and so I think it depends on what your objective is. For us, our objective is to create a safe space for people to learn and to discuss, so we moderate it very heavily. We're very careful about promoting anything. Yeah, if we promote anything, it's because we've looked at it ourselves, we've tested it ourselves, and we think it's great. And I think, secondly, if you were able to foster discussion, so it might be posting relevant content but with your take on it, and it might be sort of just knowing how to post the right questions and discussions to get people talking and excited about different topics. Those are some things that I've learned, but also like just moderation is a big part of it for every community.
So you started online first or offline?
We started just doing a Facebook group.
Facebook groups.
Yeah.
So Facebook groups community is strong in Vietnam.
Facebook is a very popular platform in Vietnam, period. But yes, our main community is also on Facebook. Like, we have a smaller Telegram group, but our main focus is the Facebook group, which is, I don't know, like over nearly 5,000 people at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the importance of having a strong community in the blockchain or crypto landscape?
For sure. I mean, it touches on what I mentioned before, which I think is, giving people a space to learn. I think as a community, it's very powerful because, whether it is interest in the project or bringing people to an event, and it goes hand in hand with cryptocurrency because it's decentralized, right? Anybody can learn about it, anybody can invest in it. So I think it goes hand in hand with a community. right? And I think, yeah, I mean, I would say that's the main thing.
Okay, last question. How do you see the Vietnam crypto community in the future? And do you think it will affect Indonesia crypto community in some ways?
I mean, I love to see more collaboration. Like, crypto it's not a competition, right? I mean, just because there's a community in Vietnam doesn't mean we can't interact with the community in Indonesia. And in fact, I think typically there should be a lot of synergy, right? If there's a good project, we'll love for them to come to Vietnam and for our community to interact with them. And same thing, like we'll love for, if it was a great Vietnam project, we'll love them to get to know you guys in Indonesia, because, you know, cryptocurrency is it's a global thing. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see, you know, more interaction, you know, if there's cross-promotion perhaps, if there are people in the Indonesian community that want to learn what's happening in the Vietnam market, they're welcome to join us. And vice versa, I'm sure there are people in the Vietnam community that would love to know a bit more about what's happening, you know, or perhaps there should be like a bigger community that's sort of more, you know, Asia-centric or Southeast Asia kind of centric, but, you know, we'll see.
Okay, so out of question, so I think like from what I heard from you, so the crypto community in Vietnam is quite mature, right?
I would say so. Like, there's lots of communities, like, and just to be clear, like my one is it's the biggest English/bilingual community, yeah. But there's many other communities that are sort of very Vietnamese focused, and yeah, I would say it is quite mature. Lots of, I mean, it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream yet, but yeah, lots of interest. Lots of people know about blockchain cryptocurrencies. There's been quite a few ICOs coming out of Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.